Question 5. So Pete wants to borrow some money from the bank. He needs to show the bank manager how his farming business is doing. Pete shows the bank manager this information about his profits from dairy and livestock. So here we can see the profit for dairy and for livestock, and he's done it in quarters. So every 3 months he's recorded the figures. He wants to display the information on a graph or a chart. So our job is to draw a graph or a chart for Pete. Now what I've done is I've already started this just to save a little bit of time. So we have a graph, some graph paper here. Now along the bottom I've put the quarters. So the first quarter, then I've left a little gap, then the second quarter, left a gap, third, and then fourth. Now if we look at the figures for dairy and livestock, we can see that the highest figure we have is 3,850. So when we show our money on our graph here, so here we have profit in pounds. I've made my graph go up to £4,000. Okay, you don't have to use all the graph, but try and make it work for you, okay, as best you can. So what I've done is every 10 little squares I've said that's £1,000. So that would be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pounds. Okay, so our profits here and our quarters are here. So this means a lot of diving backwards and forwards, I'm afraid, but for the first quarter for dairy, Pete made £3,200 profit. So I've drawn a bar here and then gone up to 3,200. Okay, so these bars, these little squares here are £100 squares, so this would be 3,000 plus the 200. Okay, and then I've drawn that bar, and then I've done the same for the 1,650. So I've gone up 1,600. Now the 50 is going to lie just between the two little squares. Okay, and that's really the best that we could do. The thing that we do need to do is differentiate between the two bars as to which is dairy and which is livestock. Okay, so what I would do is dairy is the bigger figure. Okay, so if I go into my graph, what I could do, say, is just make sure my brushes, is just shade this piece in to show that this is this particular profit, and the other one I'll leave blank. So here, somewhere on the graph, I need to put in a key here and a key. Let's rub that out because it's not very good, is it? Let's take this out. And a key here to show which is which. So if I make this one the shaded one, then I can show that dairy, which is the higher one, is shaded. So we can say this equals dairy, and we can say that the unshaded one is livestock. Okay, so now the manager, if he's looking at the graph, can see that this area here that's shaded is dairy and that this is livestock. Okay, so now what we need to do is put in the rest. So if we go here, dairy for the second quarter 3,250, I now go to the second quarter and I go up to 3,200, and that will be 3,250, and I just need to extend this a little bit. This will be a lot easier for you because you'll have a ruler and a pencil, and you'll be able to just drop this in nice and easy, and then just join these across. Okay, and then don't forget that we need to shade this area to identify. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause this, and then I'm going to just draw the rest in and then compare the notes. Okay, so I'll just pause this. Okay, so let's just get rid of this. So now you can see I've put in all the graphs and I've shaded the areas. So if we go back here, we can see that the dairy has increased from 3,200 to 3,250, 3,600, 3,850, so it's rising, his profit. And then livestock 1,650, 1,900, 2,100, 2,200, you can see that that's rising as well. Now on the graph you can see that this is very evident. Okay, so this is one of the advantages of graphs, is that it shows visually what's happening. Okay, so the key to this really is if you've got two pieces of information, we call this a comparative bar chart. So we're comparing the two bars, so one would be dairy, one would be livestock, and then we scale it to the highest value so that we can get it all on the graph, and then we just divide it up accordingly. Now I hope that helps. If you do have any problems, please do contact us and I'll go through this, or I'll redo the video if necessary. But I hope that you understand this and that I've made it as plain as I possibly can. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question.